Nabiha, and today I'm going to do it's an experience sharing about my experience as a Fulbright, and also how I apply for this grant. So this is very informal session. So if you have any questions, just raise your hands. Inshallah, I'll answer as fast as I could. Okay, so before I start, I just want to share my stories on how I know about Fulbright. So basically, I first heard about Fulbright when I started working with MCMC in 2014. So I think Academy did some knowledge sharing sessions with the former Fulbright scholars. So I remember I asked for permission from Ms. Devi to attend those sessions. And then at that time when I heard the story about Fulbright, I think Fulbright is a very prestige scholarship, and it is for me at that time. I think it's beyond my reach. You have to be really, really good to apply for this scholarship. So I forgot about it for 3 years, and then started in 2017 when Academy started blast emails about this scholarship. So at that time it crossed my mind that okay, why not I apply? Maybe after 3 years of working, I have some kind of value for me to apply for this scholarship. So here goes the first step, the application. So as for the application process, it's a very lengthy process. It's very tedious, but I think that's one of the reasons why people want to apply for this scholarship, I think. And then I remember the application form consists of, I think, 15 pages. So the three things that are really important for the application form is first the recommendation letter. So I got my first recommendation letter from my supervisor, my academic supervisor. Luckily, because I have a good relationship with my professors, so I get it within a day. And then my second recommendation letter is from Mr. Ruzamri. At that time was my HOD. And also I got the third recommendation letter from Zul, which is at that time is the chief cluster. And I think this three recommendation letter is very strong because it comes from a very strong people. I mean, people with a very good position. And then the second one is a personal statement. This is very crucial for application form because when I applied for this scholarship, I didn't know how to write a personal statement. So I do some research, and I can see that different people write a different style of personal statement. Sometimes some of it is a very formal one, some of it is very casual, and some of it is like a storytelling. So I come up with mine. So basically what I wrote in my personal statements is my dreams as a kid, and how those dreams changes as I grow up, and how I try to adapt my dreams with the current situations. Like I remember I say I want to be a doctor, but then after that I want to be a traffic controller, and then because I'm not good in math, so I changed those dreams along the way. And then in my personal statements also I included my struggles because I'm a pure science student. So I learned biology, chemistry, but then when I got my bachelor, it's in computer science. So it's like a totally different thing. And most of the time, I don't know what is processor, I don't know what is RAM. So this is very alien to me at the time. And I wrote those struggles in my personal statements. And also and I also tell when I study, I start to like what I study. And then what motivated me to apply for this scholarship, and also what motivated me to pursue my master's in security area. So those are the things that I wrote in my personal statements. And the third one is a transcript. So whatever certifications that you have, that you mentioned in your application form, you have to, of course, show that the proof with the evidence that you have those certifications, and also your academic transcript, and also your degree certificate. So these are the things that, the three crucial things that you have to include in your application form. And I remember even inside the application form, it has they want you to state what kind of program you're planning to pursue, and then what kind of university you're planning to go. So basically, you have to do some research. You have to know what you want to pursue. So those are very crucial things inside the application form. And then I remember after a week, I submitted the application form, I think around 10 days. So Macy, the people that in charge of Fulbright Malaysia, they call me and say that I'm shortlisted for the interview session. So as for the interview sessions, honestly, I don't have enough time to do preparations. So all I did was, I think the night before the interview, I just jot down all the possible questions that they might ask, and I do some research about what kind of questions that they normally ask in a scholarship interview. So I try to put some points inside my answer, and then for the interview sessions, I met a few other candidates. Some of it is from MCMC itself, and then some of it is from ASTRO, and some of it is from UTP. And then for interview, first things that I have 6 panels during that time. The first one is a US Embassy officer. One of it is a director of Fulbright, Malaysia. One of it is I think MMU professor. The other one is a former Fulbright scholar. And the other 2 is from MCMC. At that time it was Cik Nasruddin and Miss Mohamidi. And then during the interview, basically the first 20 minutes they asked me about my application form. So whatever I wrote inside my application form, they will ask me back. And then you have to really know and really understand what you wrote inside your application form. And then I think the things that they are interested at the time was because I did my twinning program in Indonesia. So I think 15 minutes of that, 15 minutes of my interview is basically focused on about my twinning program. So they want to know like what kind of things I experienced, and they want to see like what kind of cultural exchange that I did with the Indonesians. And after that, they gave me a scenario questions. I remember the 3 questions that they asked me. The first one is because I'm wearing hijab, so they asked me like, what if I'm encounter people who is Islamophobic? So how I'm going to deal with this? That is one. And then the second one, they asked me about what will I don't remember the exact questions, but it's something like, if you have to choose between humanity and religion, which will you choose? So it is for me it's very tricky. They want to see how you answer those kinds of questions. So it took me like a while to come up with my answer, because I need to really understand what they mean by that questions. And then the third one, because at that time it was changes of administration from Obama to Trump. So they asked me like, what are my concerns under this Trump administration? So these are the 3 things that I still remember, the questions. And then after the interview, exactly I think a month, so Macy called me. They asked me like, they told me that I'm a principal recipient of this scholarship under 2 conditions. I have to pass my exams, which is GRE and TOEFL, and the other one is I have to be accepted to one of universities in the United States. So as for the exams, for United States, basically if you want to apply for universities, you have to first pass the GRE exams. For bachelor in the United States, you have to pass SAT, but for masters it's GRE, it's a graduate records examinations. So GRE exams, for me it's not that hard, but it is because the time constraint. It took me, I think GRE exams took me 4 hours to finish the exams. So it consists of a few sections, comprehensions, grammar, writings, verbal, and then also mathematics. And that mathematics consists of all kinds of mathematics, statistics, algebra, calculus. And then I remember like it consists of 20 questions, and for one section it has 20 questions, and it only gives like 25 minutes per section. So you have to answer within 1.5 minutes for the questions. And then the break between sections is just 5 minutes, and the whole examinations took around 4 hours. So the conditions of, you want to ask something?
Yeah. We still need to pay for the GRE, right?
Yeah, we have to pay.
What's the fee like?
The fee is 850 ringgit at the time. Yeah, if you pass. If you don't pass, you have to retest and you pay again. So for the GRE, okay.
Is IELTS taken into consideration?
Yes,
IELTS,
yes.
Means that you have IELTS, you don't have to take TOEFL.
Yes. But it has to be like you have to take IELTS within that 3 years validations. Yeah. So they for US company, US universities, they accept IELTS and also TOEFL, but TOEFL is the main examinations that they want. So as for the GRE, I remember when I first took it, the conditions of the exam room is very stressful. It's in a classroom and it's very, very packed. And then it's like they have like a divider, like a cubicle. So you don't have enough time to complete, especially the mathematics section, because it is very correlated. If you have to answer the first questions, which is you have to find A, and then for the second questions you have to find B based on A. So if you don't know how to answer A, you're definitely not gonna be able to answer B. So those are the difficulties of GRE. And then I remember when I first took it, I only get like average results because they don't really base on marks, it's based on percentile. So it's based on performance of other candidates as well. So at that time it's just average for me, English and also mathematics. So Macy, they called me and they said they are not happy with it. So they want me to retest the exams because they said like if you want to go to good universities, you definitely need to have good results. So yeah, it took me like a month after I have to retake the exams. And I remember like all the language that they use inside GRE, the words that they use is very bombastic. Yeah. So I remember like I have to memorize at least 50 to 80 words per day for a month. And then I woke up like around 4 o'clock in the morning to study because I work. So I still have to wake up early in the morning, 4 o'clock, study, and then go to work, and then come back and study again. So I bought a book, like GRE books, and GRE books is not available in MPH or Kinokuniya. So you have to, I have to bought it online. So it cost me around, I think 60 pounds, because 60 pounds per book. And then I found one around 300 ringgit in Kinokuniya. So those are the GRE experience. So lucky me, the second attempt I got it slightly above average. So I'm good. And then as for the TOEFL, TOEFL examinations for me is more like the 1119 examinations. So it's not that hard, probably because I already studied hard for GRE. So I find TOEFL kind of easy. So it's like it's like 3.19 exactly. You have to write essays, verbal, listening, and then for TOEFL, I think US universities wants above 80 the marks. Yeah. So once you get above 100, then you're good. Almost all universities wants at least above 100. So those are the exam experience, and then after I pass the exam part, I have to apply for universities. So basically, Macy, with the help of IIE is US. IIE basically in charge of Fulbrights in the United States. So IIE will apply for three universities, up to 3. It's based on our request, and then we can apply for as much as I want. So as for my applications, because the thing about applying for university, you have to pay for application fees, and it costs around I think $80 per application, and it is non-refundable whether or not you got accepted. So I remember I only applied to 2 because one application is already cost me around 300 plus. So 2 applications is already 700. And the 3 universities that Macy applied for me is Rochester Institute of Technology, Omaha University of Nebraska, and the other one is the State University of Chicago. And the 2 universities that I applied is Pennsylvania University and Purdue Universities. So basically these universities have the programs that I wanted. So out of these 5 universities, I got accepted to 3. All is under Macy's application, if I'm not mistaken. So it is up to me to choose, and I chose RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology, because basically RIT consists of the program that I wanted. It is my first choice, but it is kind of expensive. So we have to do some negotiation with universities. So they agreed to provide me a 50% scholarship on top of whatever Fulbright is paying. And then after I'm done with universities, I already accepted the offer. It is now time for a visa and medical record. So visa basically will settle by US Embassy. So we just go for an interview, and the interview is a very general interview. They just ask us like, they just want to see all the offer letters and what program I'm pursuing. So it's very simple. And then after that, I have to take a vaccine. So basically, US want us to provide that. We already took some kinds of vaccines. I think almost all of us already took vaccines, but the thing is, we don't have the record. Like for me, I keep it, my parents keep it, but the thing is, the handwriting is not visible anymore. So, so when I submitted those documents to them, they said, no, we're not happy with this. So we want you to take another vaccine, like retake the vaccine. So I remember I have to take like 3 more jabs before I go. So and one of it is in the US because it needs to have like 1 month gap between vaccines. So at that time, the time is very limited. So I went to US and then they gave me 1 more shots, and on top of a flu shots because we come from a tropical countries, so we're not used to the weather, especially Rochester, basically at the upstate New York. It is border of Canada, so very cold. So because I'm not used, the Asian people are not used to the weather, so they gave us 1 more shot, which is flu shot. So those are the application process. And after that, I fly to the US. And now I'm going to share my experience, my academic experience. So this is my university, Rochester Institute of Technology, New York. And I pursue my master's in computing security. So this program basically is very limited because each year they only took around 30 to 40 people per program. So it's very limited, and we even have an interview before we get into this program. And then in RIT, I'm a member of RIT Women in Computing Club. So basically, this club is just for women, and all we learn is about computers. And we have a meeting every week, every Friday. We have a meeting over lunch, and then we talk about what kind of events, and what kinds of the security trends in US. These are the things that we discuss. And then I also involved in Women in Computing Hacks 2018. This is basically a hackathon competition, reserved only for women. And I also have an engagement sessions with Vice President of Information Security for Xerox Corporation. So Rochester is basically a base of Kodak and Xerox. So Xerox and Kodak comes from Rochester. So every year the VP always come to give give talks and awareness. And for this for 2000, I think this one is in 2018. During these engagement sessions, we are able to ask about what is the expectations of industry, and then how to apply for a job in this company, and yeah, those are the things that we discuss in these engagement sessions. And I also involved in big data for the public good seminar. This seminar is basically organized by Fulbright, and for this seminar, they gather Fulbright scholars from all states in the United States. And during this seminar, we discuss about big data. And apart from this big data, we also do community service, and we also have some engagement with alumni of Fulbright. And then the total credits, basically, before I fly to US, they only need 30 credits. 30 credits is required for me to graduate and get my master's. So, and that one they said it can be done within 1 year, right? 1 year. That's what they said. So when I go to US, things change. During my first semester, they said that I cannot take more than 9 credits because they are afraid of the workload. I cannot cater the workload. So that's the maximum I can take, so 9 credits. So it is almost impossible to finish that 30 credits within a year. So they asked me to extend another half a year. So I extend another half a year. And then they asked me to take like 9 credits more because of those courses I didn't take during my bachelor, like calculus and everything. So at the end, the total credits that I take is 41 credits instead of 30. And it took me 2 years to finish the master's instead of 1 year. So these are my academic experience. And in US, for my program, we have a lot of hands-on. Every course is hands-on. And then the professor there, they are more like, during the class, it's not lecture, it's more like discussion. And then they need everyone to interact. with each other. And then, one thing I like about US, or maybe RIT, I'm not sure, but if you are not happy with your marks, you can always counter back with your professor. Why you think you deserve these marks? If they think like you have a point, they will definitely give you the marks. So there's always a negotiation with professors, and then professors are very considerate, very considerate, and they are very more like friends instead of professors. And in US, the professors, they don't wear formal, they wear shorts and slippers. Yeah, especially people in computing security departments, they are really relaxed. So those are my academic experience in RIT. And then this is my Fulbright experience. So basically, Fulbrights, they organize a lot of programs throughout my stays in the US. So this is, I am lucky because in RIT, we have more than 35 Fulbright scholars come from all around the world. So like, we organize a Fulbright RIT picnic. So basically for RIT Fulbright Association, Fulbrights come from me like Malaysia, and then some of them are from Egypt, some of them from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Russia, Paraguay, and then Brazil. So it's like very versatile. So everyone's like have a different language, different cultures, different looks. So RIT Fulbright, we are really active. Rochester, especially we always organize Fulbright event for Rochester. So we gather Fulbrighters from other universities in Rochester. So we organize events. Like for this one is Fulbright RIT meet and greet. This is when this is during my 3rd week in RIT. So we have meet and greet with the previous Fulbrighters, the 2nd year Fulbrighters. We are the 1st year, and then we also have like this Fulbright RIT picnic. And then this is meet and greet with the new Fulbright scholars when I am in 2nd year. So we have the new Fulbrights. During this time, I have one Fulbright scholars from Timor-Leste. So basically, for the first time in US, that I have somebody who can understand my language. So because they speak Indonesian, so they can speak Indonesian language. And then we also organize a volunteer program. So this one is Coalitions Against Hunger. So basically every month we have this volunteer program. For this, the first one, we basically cook from scratch and for the local community. And then for the second one is, the first one is basically Fulbright RIT. The second one is Fulbright from different states. So for this community service, because during this time, there's a changes of season. So from winter to spring. So we have to clear the garden to harvest a new cocoa. Yeah. And then this is Fulbright engagement seminar in Philadelphia. So those are Fulbrights from Malaysia. We all get the same location for this seminar. So during this seminar, basically we went to the government buildings. So we get to this government, because Philadelphia basically is it's a history state actually. And then we went to the government buildings, and they will enlighten us what our Philadelphia government is doing, the state government is doing. So these are the participants. This is half of it actually. And then we also have during this Fulbright experience, they also assigned us a host family. So that one is my host, that old lady, Jeffrey. So basically, we have to go and just hang out with her, and then we had dinner, help her cook dinner. So one thing I learned during this program is for US culture, they don't really allow guests into their kitchen. So for us, because these 3 members, me from Malaysia, the guy is from India, and the other one is from Azerbaijan. So basically we are, because our culture is, to help the old lady. So basically she feels like very uncomfortable, because she said that, never in my life people come and wash dishes in my house. Normally they just leave it there. So this is personally, she feels so bad because they allowed us to wash dishes. And I said, it's fine because it is our culture in Malaysia that we normally help, we always help our parents. So this is basically our culture, and then she feels like, okay, if it's your culture, that's okay. So the second one is a Fulbright engagement dinner. So during this program, we also have dinner. So those are my friends from Afghanistan, and the other one is from London. And I am also a Fulbright karaoke club committee. So basically, RIT Fulbright, we have a karaoke committee where every Friday night we organize singing competitions, or we went just hang out. It's just a normal hangout, normal karaoke hangouts. So these are the committee from Egypt, from Mongolia, and from Pakistan. And then the second one, I passed those. This is before I leave for good. So these are the people that take over the club. So other experience other than Fulbright, I am also the external vice president for National Assembly of Malaysian Students in America. So basically, this or we call it NAMSA. So NAMSA basically they organize events, and also they actually take care of all Malaysian students in America. So basically, in Malaysia, in US, each university have their own Malaysian associations. So we are the umbrella of all these associations. So we are also the middle person between the governments and the students. So anything that governments want to deliver to the students, they have to go through us. So these are, I'm one of the external vice presidents, and you can see the first picture, that is the whole committee. And then the second one is, the first one is basically the previous committee and the current committee, and the second one is basically, that's my close committee. So I also involved in Majlis Makan Malam Rakyat Malaysia bersama the Prime Minister. Prime Minister came to New York. Actually, I think it's UN. I think he gave talks in UN event. So during the night, they have this Majlis Makan Malam. It's also organized by NAMSA. So as a committee, of course, I'm involved. So we got to meet a lot of people, and I didn't get the chance to take picture with Prime Minister because a lot of people berkerumun dekat dia. So I only get the chance to take picture with Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah, which is the Menteri Luar Negeri. And I also get the chance to celebrate Raya Haji with Malaysians in Rochester. So these are the Malaysian students. In Rochester, I'm the only Malaysian who's doing masters. And then there are a few doing degree in RIT. And some of them is like, they are also a Malaysian family living in Rochester. And then the second one is engagement with Rochester community. So we got to do like a barbecue nights with them, barbecue by the beach with the Rochester committee. And I also get to watch Travel Noah live in RIT. So basically, he's a stand-up comedian. So he came to RIT to perform, and I got the chance to like meet him in person. But I didn't get the chance to take picture with him, but it's okay. So this is a really interesting because I never actually attended stand-up comedy. So my friends always say like, you have to attend, like, you have to experience this. So I went to the best, Travel Noah. And then the second one is a Niagara Falls trip. This is with my classmates. So Niagara Falls basically is just 1.5 hours from my place. And then I got to experience winter. So basically this is how it looks like in Rochester during winter, like very thick winter. And this is how I walk back to my house from RIT. So I walk back. It's within walking distance. During winter, it's really cool. And then I got to experience autumn as well. And autumn in US is really nice. And I didn't get a chance to, because in Rochester we don't have spring. We always skip spring. I don't know why. It's always winter, and summer. We don't have spring. So I'm not going to show that. And this is my graduation, which is on 10th of May. So these are my classmates who graduate with me. Some of them is my professors. And my husband came for my graduations. So those are the experience. So the challenges that I experienced first, I developed anxiety. I experienced anxiety, and this is I struggle a lot to deal with anxiety because I never experienced it in Malaysia. And when I went to US, probably because I am really out of my comfort zone, so I feel like because I'm far from family, I went there alone, and I don't know anyone in the US. I mean, specifically in my place. So I live with not Malaysians. I live with China from mainland, and the other two is India from India. So there is a different, maybe there's big changes during that time. So I start to feel anxiety. I remember I called Anurizan and then I like complained to her. Like I say, oh, I don't know why I'm feeling like this and how to overcome. I basically asked for advice. And I deal with anxiety throughout those 2 years. It won't go away. I mean, the first semester was the hardest because I start to adapt with the culture. I don't have friends at that time, so I need to like start to find friends. And then I don't really know the surroundings, the people. I'm not familiar with it, so I feel like anxiety it's really bad, and I feel lonely. And then I went to meet the counselor in RIT because I remember there's one time I said that I want to go back. I feel this is too much, and I just want to take like 2 weeks break. Just want to go back in the middle of the semester. So I went to meet my advisor, and I said that I think I cannot take the midterm exams. I want to take before or after because I think I just want to go back. At that time, I feel it's so overwhelming. And then my professor, she feels like, oh my god, this is okay. Something wrong with this, with my it's something wrong with my student. So she basically contacted my IIE advisor, the one that in charge of Fulbright in US. So IIE contact Macy in Malaysia, so everyone knows, and so basically everyone knows about it. So like it is actually because it's too overwhelming, and I think like I don't think, yeah, that's the thing. I don't think, I just go and say I don't want to take the exam. I just want to go back. But after I calm down, and then they suggest me to meet a counselor. So when I meet a counselor, it's not much help because the different culture. Like for us, Malaysians, we have a very strong bonds with our family, with our parents, with our friends. But for Americans, the counselor basically advised me to limit my contacts with my family. Yeah. So those are the advice that they gave me. They said that you're feeling homesick because you keep on calling your parents. That's the thing. So they said try to limit, try to busy yourself. You know, those are the things that I already know, and because of the cultural difference, I think I cannot take the advice 100%. Only the good ones I hear. So those are the things. After one semester, this anxiety comes and goes. So because after one semester, I already make friends, and then I already familiar with the surroundings. I already adapt to the culture. So it comes and goes. I still feel, sometimes I feel demotivated. Sometimes I feel lonely. I think it's just normal for people who study abroad, especially when you don't have Malaysian friends. So whenever you miss Malaysia, you don't have, it's not that I don't want to mix with Malaysians, but there's no Malaysians. That's the thing. So I don't have a choice. So whenever I miss Malaysian food, I have to cook myself. So that's kind of feel lonely for me. And then the second challenge is because LDR, long distance relationship with my husband. I just got married, I think, that time. 3 months after I got married, and I fly to the US. So it's kind of hard for me. And then third one is the culture. Because US culture, they are friendly. People are friendly. They always initiate small talks. But the thing is, they are really reserved about their personal life. They don't want to discuss their personal life, and they don't want to discuss your personal life with you as well. So it's kind of reserved, the culture. And then people like Americans, they kind of don't care about it. Yeah. Those are the culture in US. And I think these are the things that I want to adapt, and especially when I'm wearing hijab. Americans, they always have some reservation. Like, they think I'm from Saudi. They always thought I'm from Saudi. And then they always feel like I cannot talk to women because they are very stereotyped. They think people wearing hijabs cannot talk with men. So yeah, those are the mentality of Americans. So it's hard for me to adapt to those culture. I think those are the main challenges I experience. And then, as for the future plan, what are the contributions of this grant to my career growth? I think the technical part of it, I learned a lot of hands-on, and I'm currently in a network security department. So I am where I should be. So this grant, basically the experience that I experienced in US and the things that I learned in US, especially my program is a very, very good program. So I can actually apply that in NSC, Network Security Center, MCMC. I never done malware analysis before, but I did that in US. I never done attack defense program in Malaysia, but I did that in US. So it's very good. And then I think those are the contributions of the grant to my career growth. And as for my current and future plan, I'm planning to apply everything that I learned. And then as for now, I'm planning to take a lot of security certifications. And then maybe when the time comes, when I'm ready, maybe I'll go further my PhD. And as for the tips for future applicants, I think for applications, it's not that hard. You just have to put efforts to it. And then and tips to excel your graduate studies is, first you have to make friends with the right people. I make friends with really right people because most of my classmates, they are Indians and they are really smart. So they will not leave you behind. Like whenever I have problem with my studies, they're always there. And they always like drag me to library, drag me to do my labs. So they are really good friends. At the same time, and I also have my Fulbright friends. So whenever I feel I have problems with my visa or try to adapt with this culture, because some of my classmates, they already stays in US for more than 3 years, so they already okay with the culture. But as for the Fulbrighters, other Fulbright scholars, they also are having the same problem as me, like trying to adapt. So whenever I need advice, and then we are also under the same visa because most of my classmates, they went to US under a student visa. But as for the Fulbright scholars, we went under a government visa. So basically a government visa, we have a 2 years residency where we have to come back to Malaysia and serve our country for 2 years. Then only you can go back to US for kerja ataupun to further your studies. So yeah, and then you have to believe in yourself definitely. So during my anxiety period, I feel like I couldn't make it for 2 years. I think 2 years is too long. But then I said, it's okay. One day at a time, one day at a time, one day at a time. And then eventually I finished my 2 years. And after I completed my master's, I just feel like I don't want to come back. I do have that kind of feelings. So I think that's all for my experience sharing. And I have a video to share. It's just my graduation video.
I would now like to introduce the candidates for Master of Science degree in Computing Security. Fatin, Nabiha of Fatin.
So those are my proud moments. Okay, with that, if anyone have any questions, please feel free to ask. With that. Oh yeah, before that, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Academy and also HR, they are here, for making this happen, for helping me throughout this Fulbright journey, and also my departments, my former boss, Cik Zamri, who helped me doing my personal statements. I did ask for his opinions, and also for giving me the recommendations. And then, and also I always refer to Cik Zamri and Nazina whenever I have confusion which courses should I take. So they always advise me. And then to my, I think Yushan is not here, but I always ask for spiritual advice from Miss Yushan and Naziruddin. And then as for my friends, my top friends, they are always there whenever I feel down, whenever I feel demotivated. So these are the people that keep on supporting me. apart from my family and friends in US. So for me, support system is the main thing, like the important thing if you want to study abroad. So yeah, with that I thank you. Ada questions? Yeah, I did. I'm not much of a cook, so pergi US baru I start to learn how to cook all nasi lemak lah, kari ayam lah. So basically I learned to cook in US. And about Muslim food, halal food lah in US, in Rochester, they did sell halal chicken and sausage and daging kisar. They have that halal. Yes. So they also have a Asian market. So like belacan and everything, ikan masin, they have it there. And then senang lah, but it's a little bit expensive. They also have this spice market. So all the spices yang orang US tak makan, kita makan yang orang Asia, ada jual. Yes.
So your course is full exam coursework and plus a project or thesis?
Yes, it is coursework, so class, exams, and projects. I don't have research. Because research took more than 2.5 years, and they don't want to fund me for 2.5 years, so I got to do it short.
Is there any academic challenges? Is there any academic challenges that you face in your life?
Oh, in terms of academic, because I choose the right friends, like I said, my friends are really smart. They are all 4.0. And then I don't feel pressure. I mean, because it is cost based. So by the end of the semester, of course, you have exams, you have theses, you have you have projects, you have presentations. So during that 2 weeks, I feel a little bit pressure, but it is manageable. But throughout the semester, I feel fine. Probably because I learned something that I like, and then a lot of people help me throughout my studies. So I don't really find any struggles.
So the portion of challenges goes to the anxiety.
Yes, it's basically
Not
anxiety
the academic side.
is the big part of my challenges. It's so bad. Like I have to call my mom twice a day, morning and before I go to sleep, because I never experienced anxiety before. So I'm kind of shocked. Yeah. And the people in US, they don't understand. Especially my friends, my American friends, they don't understand. It's like they say like, why? Why you feel this way? I mean, your mom is there. You can always call. I mean, they don't understand because they are there. It's their own country, so they don't feel it. Part of it, yeah, but most of it, I think, because I'm totally out of my comfort zone. I always have my friends. I'm very close with my parents, so once I'm there, and especially the time zone, it's like 12 hours different. So whenever I want to call them, it's night here in Malaysia. When they want to call me, it's night in US. So I have to find like nice timing to call them. So that's contribute, and also probably because I never experienced 4 seasons before, so I don't know how lonely it can be during winter. Because winter, the day is really short. I think around 4 o'clock it's already dark. Yeah, so 4 o'clock until the next morning, 8:30 in the morning, baru ada sunrise. It's a very long time to stay indoors. And I'm an outdoor person, so I always go out for a run, and then I go hiking. But during winter, you cannot do all those things. You have to stay indoors. So those are things that contribute to my anxiety.
So you had your own nation when all of the
Undergraduates, there are a few. I did. When I first arrived in Rochester, they actually the one yang sambut. They helped me to go kenalkan kat mana mall, kat mana semua. But then because we are not living together, they all live Malaysians saja, and it's kind of far from my house. Yeah, kind of far because I live nearby the college because it's walking distance. For them, it's like they took bus, so it's kind of far. So I did hang out with them once a week, but then because they are really young and they're yes, and that age difference tu pun contribute juga, and then because they already been there for more than 3 years, so So diorang dah rasa macam tu betul dari diorang lah. Enjoy.
Because I was there, I tak
For them, they don't feel anxiety because when I asked them like first time diorang datang, do they feel like anxiety ke apa, tak ada, because they come ramai-ramai. So they don't feel like for me, I feel alone. So yes. And I also want to share like I did involve in an accident in the US. I drove a car because different kan, lane different kan. So I drove the opposite lane, and it's because it's raining and it's dark. So I came across, I basically langgar one more car. So it's kind of bad. So but the thing that amused me is like the first thing they asked me is like, "Are you okay?"
Yes.
Are you okay? Even though it's my fault, I am jalan different lane. But the thing they asked me, the first thing they asked me is like, "Are you okay? Are you injured?" That's it. And then they said, "I don't care about the car. We can fix it. We have insurance. But I just want to make sure you are okay." That's something that I think I never experienced that thing in Malaysia. That's one thing I want to share. And US also have a really, really beautiful nature. Actually, that's nice. Any more questions? Actually, before I came back, I got a job offer in the US in a security ops company. Because RIT, they provide a very quality graduates in terms of technical. So for my courses, most of us got a job offer before we even graduate. So, but then because I have a bond with MCMC, and I don't want to break that bond.
How much the weight of the bond?
100 plus. So residency requirement, I have to come back for 2 years. So I said maybe after 2 years I'll try. I even got a fellowship in data science. But then because of my visa expired and I don't want to extend my visa even for 3 months, so I have to lose fellowship as well. To be honest, when you study in US, it's kind of easy to get a job there because it's a huge country, and Americans, they are not. I'm not saying they are not smart. They are smart, but they requires people like most of computer company. They hire Indians because Indians are really, really good. So most of companies in US basically consist of Indians, and they have a lot of Indians there.
So next time you bring your family.
Next time, yeah. Inshallah. If others.
Seorang tak boleh.
Yeah, I cannot. I mean, some people, they are okay with it. Like for me, I always need my support system. I cannot go alone.
Okay.
Thank you.